Hey guys, and welcome. I know that song didn't really have anything to do with math, but it is the end of October, and we're almost done with the second grading period. And sometimes we just need to put it into overtime and just keep on going. And it doesn't stop here either. So we are going to go through a lot today. Basically, we're going through about 2 to 3 months worth of Algebra 1 all in this lesson. So we're basically going to be able to use equations, tables, and graphs to create equations, tables, and graphs. So all sorts of things with linear equations. So buckle up your seats, get ready, and here we go. All right, so starting off real simple, slope-intercept form. There are two main parts. There's a y equals mx plus b, m being the slope, the rise over the run, and b being the y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis. I know you can't see it there, where the line crosses the y-axis. All right. So the first combo that we're going to look at are going from an equation to a table. Going from an equation to a table. So for some of you, this is review. For some of you, it's like refreshing and remembering everything that we've done, that you guys have done in algebra prior to this. All right, so we have x plus y is equal to 5, and we are given a table, and we're given some x coordinates. So we know that x can equal 1, 2, 1.5, and negative 1. So what we can do is all we're going to do is we're going to substitute this in to this equation. So we can say, for example, 1 plus y equals 5. And then solve for y, subtracting 1 on both sides, and we get 1 is equal to 4. Okay? Another thing that we can do is that we can say, instead of like solving each time, we can bring x over to the other side so that it's just y is equal to negative x plus 5. All right? So if x is 2, then it's going to be negative 2 plus 5. And negative 2 plus 5 is 3. Negative 1.5 plus 5 is 3.5. And negative 1 plus 5 would be like this would be turned into a positive 1. So 1 plus 5 is 6. All right. So basically, when we're going from an equation to a table, we're just inputting values in for x, and later on we'll see in for y, and we now have points. So we have points like 1, 4, 2, 3, 1.5, 3.5, and negative 1, 6. Let's take a look at another one. So now this is in slope-intercept form, and we're given these points. You can also put in any point. So like if you want to say like, ooh, I want to know what y would equal when x is 4. Sure, go ahead. It doesn't matter. You can put anything into these inputs, and you can get out an output with linear equations. So here, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5. 2 times 2 plus 3 is 7. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, plus 3 is 1. And 2 times 2.5 is 5, plus 3 is 8. And let's just do 4 for extra measure. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11. Okay? So you're just, basically, as fourth period would love me to say, basically you're just plugging and chugging. Plugging and chugging, or substituting and chugging. So, lastly, with the equation to tables, we have an equation that's in point-slope form, where we have these two, where we have these two as the points and negative 2 as the slope. But here also, we are going to start off by inputting in the y value. So maybe sometimes you know some of the y values and you want to figure out what the x value is. So what you do is that you just substitute in and in. So we have like 4 minus 8 is equal to, I'm going to multiply this negative 2 out. So negative 2x minus 4. Ooh, my 2x looks great, doesn't it? And then we can solve for x. So if we add 4 to both sides, we get that 0 is equal to negative 2x. Therefore, x would be equal to 0. Okay. Now let's, oops, I took away the 0 that was there. Let me bring that back. So we now have 0. Let's say we put in 2. So 2 minus 8 is negative 6. So we have negative 6 equals negative 2x minus 4. We add 4 to both sides. So we get 2 equals negative 2x. And then divide by negative 2 on both sides, and we'll get that x is equal to negative 1. We're dividing by negative 2 on both sides. All right, so that's how we can, if we know the y, we want to find x, we just substitute in what we know for y and for y. Now, back to what we were doing before. Now let's say we know what the x value is, and we want to find the y value. So all we do, substitute 2 in for 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. So y minus 8 equals negative 8. We add 8 to both sides of the equation, and we get y is equal to 0. Lastly, negative 2. So negative 2 times negative 2 plus 2. So negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So negative 2 times 0 is 0. So we have y minus 8 is equal to 0. Yay. This happens. Just got to roll with the flow. It's not liking me. There we go. And so we can just add 8 to both sides, and we get y is equal to 8. Y is equal to 8. All right. And there we have 4 points that go on this equation. All right. Let's move on to the next one after I finish erasing all of this. All right. So now we're going to go the opposite direction. So we went from equation to table. Now we're going to go table to equation. So what we have to look for is how does the change in x values and the change in y values happen? So remember, slope is equal to change in y over change in x. So let's see if we can find a common theme here. So negative 3 to 2 is positive 5, right? 2 to 7, positive 5. 7 to 12, we add 5. So this was our, add 5. So that was our change in y. Now our change in x, we add 1 more, and add 1 more. Plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So all of these are the same. 5 over 1, 5 over 1, 5 over 1. So clearly the slope of this one is equal to 5. Sorry for the distracting blue background. Next, it's already given to you. So we know the slope is 5. Now there are 2 ways that we can go about this. We can either put it into slope-intercept form, and we can find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is when the x is 0. So when x is 0, we know that whatever the y value is the y-intercept. And here we have x is 0 and y is 2. So we know that the y-intercept, would be equal to 2. But let's say we didn't have this 0. We can still put it into point slope form. We can take any of these points and and take the slope. And let's say we're going to take this point, 2, 12. We can also put it into point slope form and say y minus y1, so minus 12, is equal to the slope times x minus x1, so 2. And though that's an equation of the line as well. Now taking a look at the second equation, the second table. Oops, I didn't need to erase all of that, but I did. I'm taking a look at the second, sorry. There's going to be a lot of editing going on. Taking a look at the second equation, so we can see that our change in x is still going plus 1. So our change in x, whoa. Our change in x is plus 1. And our change in y, we go negative 5. Oh no, we're going plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. So we know that the slope is 5, and our y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. So it's going to be y equals 5, the slope, x plus, minus 5. Because the y-intercept is negative 5. We can see that our change in x is actually positive 2. So we're going negative 2 to 0 is 2, plus 2. 0 to 2, plus 2. And 2 to 4, plus 2. Here, our y is going down, so it's negative 1. 1 to 0 is negative 1. And 0 to negative 1 is negative 1. Our slope would equal negative 1/2, and our y-intercept would be 1, because since x is 0, the y would be 1. All right. So that was, now let's go from table to graph. So here we have a table and we need to graph it. So remember, on a graph, we have an x-axis and a y-axis. And a line is made up of infinitely many points. So what we can do is plot the points that are given on the table. So we go to the right one and up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The right 2, up 3. The right 1.5, up 3.5. And lastly, to the left one and up 6. And so we get a line like so. All right. Now let's go from equation to graph. So we have the equation y equals 2x plus 3. What we want to do is that we know that the y-intercept is 3, and the slope is 2. So the rise over run is 2. So we can start off going up 3. So this is the y-intercept. And then now the slope is 2. So up 2 over 1. Or down 2 to the left 1. Down 2 to the left 1. And then we can connect the dots. You need to have at least 3 points. You need to have at least 3 points to make sure that your graph is done correctly, that it makes a line. All right, and voila. Now let's go on to the next one. Now we have something in standard form, negative x plus 2y equals 2. And so what we'll first want to do is convert it to slope-intercept form. So let's bring the x over and divide by 2. So we'll get 2y is equal to x plus 2. And then we're going to divide both sides by 2. and we get y is equal to 1/2 x plus 1. 1/2 x plus 1. So the y-intercept is 1, and the slope is 1/2. So up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Or down 1 to the left 2. And voila, we've got our line. And then the last one is in point slope form. And so with point slope form, we have the point, and we have an x1 here, and a y1, and we have m, or the slope, right? So we can go to this point. So remember, in the point slope formula, it's y minus y1. So that minus is embedded into the formula. So here, the y value is 4. And here, the x value is 2. So we would go to this point, 2, 4. So that's a point on the line, 2, 4. And then the slope is 2.5. So up 2.5 over 1, or down 2.5 to the left 1. Down 2.5 to the left 1. And we get a line. All right? So with point slope form, we find the point and then use our slope triangles to go up and down from it. Lastly, we're going to do 2 examples where we go from graph to an equation. So we have a graph here, and we can identify the slope, we can identify a point on the line, and we can identify the y-intercept. So let's start off by identifying the y-intercept. Since we have the y-intercept, we know that it crosses the y-intercept here, which is 3. So we can say b, or the y-intercept, is equal to 3. We know that this is a point on the line, and so we can assume that we go up 2 over 1. So that means the slope would be 2. So therefore, we can write the equation y equals 2x plus 3. Because the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 3. All right? And for the last one, we're almost done, guys. So this one has a negative slope. Oops. And it has a y-intercept of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see, the next time, when it gets to 1, it's here. So it goes down 3 to the right 1. So it has a b would equal 5. Is that face 5? 2, 4, 5. Yep. And the m would equal negative 3. So the equation would be y equals negative 3x plus 5. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging in there. Now you have the algebra tools to be ready to complete 4.6. Take it away. There's no online quiz for pre 4.6, so just go on to the next video.